Oh no!
Once upon a time, from the simplicity of grandma's tales to the intricacies of digital storytelling, human creativity has indeed traveled a long way. Welcome to the world of animation, the new age avatar of an age-old craft.
That is the power of animation, that it can affect anybody.
I think because it's universal. You know, I mean, animation has no boundaries with the caste, color or creed.
Movement, it would seem, defines life for us. And to be able to create movement is to be able to recreate the essence of life. Especially when it involves telling a good story in a manner as real to life as possible. Today, when we see the early expressions of such creativity, they do seem quaint. But at that moment in time, they must have seemed a miracle. Just as these images are for us, the magic of our times.
Animation itself has a lot to do with technique, because we are not exactly doing purely only dealing with art right now, because what goes behind is a lot of technologies.
Till the last frame, till the final render is done, you would not know how the film is going to look like.
We've come to learn to use technology just like it's a tool. It's like how people used pencils, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. So we use computers in that way today. And we've stopped thinking of technology as being a barrier to doing work.
Magic or technology, call it what you will. But essentially, animation celebrates the coming together of human creativity and technological ingenuity to create rich entertainment experiences for everybody. And India, though a relative latecomer to this exciting process, finds herself occupying significant space on the world stage.
The growth in the last 8 to 10 years has been quite astonishing. We now have more than half a dozen animation channels in India. We have movies being made like Hanuman and follow-ups to that. We are one of the largest exporters of animation as a service business to the world market. Some of the best recognized computer animation on US TV and European TV is done right here in India.
We find it very good that French expert and Indian expert of animation work together to make happen those fantastic works.
According to industry figures, the animation industry in India today is worth $500 million and growing at an impressive 22%. The relatively new kid on the block, the gaming industry, is worth $170 million with an annual growth rate of 49%.
You're going to see $100 billion in the global animation market in about 2012. In India, we are still going to land up at about $1 billion if we hit our targets in 2012. And I think that just describes the headroom and the opportunity.
It's not just the big companies that are making it, it's also the small companies who are going global and making a mark. I think they realize that the global distributed model of development is the way of the future.
Even though India at the moment occupies a mere 1% of the world space in figures, most names in the end credits of any successful international animation work are Indian. Because either part of it or all of it has been made in India by Indians.
Either as a partner or as a supplier, and we do A to Z, the entire production, and the creative production, technical production, everything.
We have evolved along with the technology and with the talent pool. Even within the last 10 years, Mickey Mouse has been animated in India.
Today, studios across India are creating work for nearly all international majors. But in what is unique to the Indian experience, in just a short while, most of those who started out a decade ago are now busy embarking on their own creative journeys.
I can create a character which is associated with the Indian kids, and I wanted to make an Indian superhero.
Don't rule out your own home market. 1 out of every 6 people in the world is an Indian.
More importantly, this large domestic market in the Indian context encourages the Indian idiom and style also to find visibility.
We've got more stories than anybody else because we've got such a huge history.
Turner's been around in India for over 13 years now, and we pioneered the platform to be offered to the Indian animation fraternity so they can showcase their content on our channel.
As we see these moving, laughing, colorful images, it does seem impossible that somewhere a human hand with a simple pencil drew the first sketch which gave birth to men. But animation today is touching our lives in more ways than one. Perhaps there is no aspect of communication in which animation is not playing an important role.
Most people think animation is only entertainment, but there are a lot of scientific use, educational values for animation.
Animation's permeated every medium, so it's not as if it's only in gaming or only in advertising. I think it's everywhere because now all our media is dynamic.
Taking money out of a bank, booking tickets for a movie or a train, applying for courses or jobs, wherever there is an interactive device, animation plays an important role. Animation has changed the medical profession and how the scientific fraternity thinks and works forever. Indian professionals have made a mark for themselves in this field as well.
We probably place ourselves in the top quartile of medical graphics companies worldwide, and we constantly win business based on the strength of our graphics.
Now, with the help of animated simulation models, satellite imaging, etc., we can accurately assess the impact of anthropogenic activities on the environment. An ever-increasing growth in demand for distance education translates into a proportional increase in requirement for supportive material, with India fast becoming a hub for its creation. For long, animation has been used to sell nearly anything worldwide, and the Indian advertising industry is no exception.
If you look at animation, animation is an art form, and advertising is messaging, and sometimes it can do a damn good job beyond live action because the possibilities are great.
The magic of animation has worked, and
if you can dream a visual, you can make it in animation.
Once upon a time, sports were all about the great outdoors and the indoors. Not anymore.
Gaming is what we call as an active form of entertainment, as against watching TV. Dhruva is, I think, perhaps the only Indian company which has worked with most of the top 20 publishers of games in the world. I think our clients really come back to us because we do things at a very, very high quality, at a very, very high level of reliability.
With such wide application, there is an exponential growth in demand for these images, which means that there is a huge need for a large reservoir of highly skilled, trained people and a matching requirement for investment in infrastructure development.
I think we're really focused on building the talent pool. There is no way that this industry can achieve its potential unless we have the requisite skill sets.
While there are many institutes to fulfill industry needs and to provide access to a large number of people aspiring for a career in animation, there are also centers of excellence such as the Industrial Design Center at IIT Mumbai, which are helping bridge the creative versus technical divide.
we're trying to push students to look at animation as a strength that they can develop without really being bogged down by a tool.
You breathe life into something and it's a wonderful experience.
Which brings us back to the basics. When we discuss the animation industry, is what you have to say more important or how you say it more important?
Be the best when it comes to craft, but don't start with our story.
Or perhaps it's about none of these. Maybe it's about creating new beings and life forms in new worlds. perhaps it's about being God, even if only for that moment in time.
Because you're placing you're creating a world. That's what you do when you make an animation film. You're building an entire world. And the challenge for all animators and filmmakers is to make a world that is believable.
So as long as you can dream it and as long as you can imagine it, you can create it. Really? Well, if not, then virtually really.